Netanyahu's speech was, if the federal government had been doing what it is constitutionally mandated to do, the Prime Minister's address would not have been necessary. For starters, for almost 7 years, the Obama administration has been conducting its own personal war against American military might. At present, our republic no longer has the capability to engage in 2 major wars or conflicts simultaneously. That development alone has emboldened the Muslim enemies of freedom to flex their terrorist muscle like never before. Thousands and thousands of Christians and black Muslims have lost their heads due to sword or knife-wielding dedicated Muslims who have decided to play God and choose their day of death. Millions of other people throughout the world are either hoping or praying that somehow, some way, someday, America will soon recover from her current stupor of Obama-induced decline and show of weakness. Thanks or no thanks to the tepid approach in dealing with the most destructive dedicated Muslim enemies throughout the Middle East, the Obama administration has helped strengthen the resolve of ISIS Muslims to swarm like murdering locusts, killing infants to great-grandparents for sport. In his speech before a joint meeting of Congress, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu warned,
"The greatest danger facing our world is the marriage of militant Islam with nuclear weapons,"
warning that the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, or ISIS, may be an enemy of Iran, and they are both fighting for the crown of militant Islam. The Prime Minister added, to defeat ISIS and let Iran get nuclear weapons would be to win the battle but lose the war. We cannot let that happen, Netanyahu said. Netanyahu's speech was a warning to President Barack Obama not to enter into a 10-year deal with Iran to lift international sanctions in exchange for the promise that Iran will curb its nuclear capabilities. I find it rather Bush League for the United States government to allow itself and the world to continuously be made a fool of by Muslims who decades ago declared war on the West and who continue to act on that declaration. Any military strategist that understands the concept of knowing the enemy would have either researched or by now realized that you cannot trust a dedicated Muslim in negotiations. In the book, What Every American Needs to Know About the Quran, William J. Federer lays out for all to see the deceptive customs of the Islamists who believe it is okay to lie to infidels or non-Muslims. Considering that Islam defines the entire non-Muslim world as the house of war, or Dar al-Harb, it is acceptable to always lie and deceive non-Muslims. Knowing that Muslims at war, either planning or actual, are going to seek to deceive non-Muslims. So why on earth will the United States not take a harder stand against Iran? It would threaten both America and Israel. Unfortunately, the United States government continues to put we the people at risk by shrinking the military, weakening the economy, and not dealing from a position of strength against our enemies while disrespecting allies like Israel. Oh, by the way, Russia and China are both salivating at the prospect of a weakened United States of America. So the question remains, will the United States put up or fold up? I'm Ron Edwards.
Blowing away the myths and revealing the truth. You can continue to blow away the myths with Ron Edwards on Facebook, Twitter, and theronedwards.com.
You can catch all our show archives at theconservativesyndicate.net. The Conservative Syndicate, real conservative talk from real conservatives.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on water washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-790-5960. That's 1-800-790-5960. Again, 1-800-790-5960. Call now.
Limited time offer, 24-month commitment and credit qualification required. Cancellation fee, auto pay, and paperless billing and other restrictions apply. Since you can't see the difference, don't pay the difference. Switch to Dish and get the best deal in entertainment for less than $20 a month. Switch to Dish because at just $19.99, Dish saves you every time you turn on the TV. Call Go Dish to save with Dish. Dial 1-800-600-1645. Less than $20 a month. Dish. Call 1-800-600-1645 for details.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Good evening, America, and those listening around the world. It's time for the Conservative Syndicate with your host, John Matthews. Self-ordained, politically incorrect, mad prophet of the airways, the Conservative Syndicate is comprised of some of the most knowledgeable activists and pundits today that together seek to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state through education, information, and engagement with those seeking the truth regarding the similarities and differences between the religion of politics and the politics of religion.
Well, by getting on Larry King and telling everybody I'm a Christian and I wasn't raised in a Muslim home.
Americans have Muslims in their families or have lived in a Muslim-majority country. I know because I am one of them. As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn. But I have known Islam on 3 continents before coming to the region where it was first revealed. That experience guides my conviction. Unless we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ.
At what point does a baby get human rights, in your view?
Well, I think that whether you're looking at it from a theological perspective or a scientific perspective, answering that question with specificity, is above my pay grade. I've got 2 daughters, 9 years old and 6 years old. I'm going to teach them, first of all, about values and morals. But if they make a mistake, I don't want them punished with a baby. As long as we've got to fight to make sure women have access to quality, affordable health care, and as long as we've got to fight to protect a woman's right to make her own choices about her own health, I want you to know that you've also got a president who's going to be right there with you, fighting every step of the way. Thank you, Planned Parenthood. God bless you. Hey, all you can do is just tell the truth and trust in the American people that over time, they're going to know what the truth is. We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
And now, your host, John Matthews.
Hey, we're back here. Hour 2 of the Conservative Syndicate coming to you live right now out here from the old left coast. I am your host, John Matthews, mad prophet of the airways, on a mission from God. And that mission is to tear down the imaginary wall of separation between church and state. We do that by espousing what I refer to as the conservative gospel and exposing the lameness of the leftist agenda. Glad to have you with us. And I've got with me my co-host, Joe Hakos, and, of course, our darling of the airways.
Yes.
The founder of Rage Against the Media, Karen Sigmund. How are you doing tonight, dear?
I'm wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Hey, before we get into our conversation here, you are doing a show now out in Philly?
I am.
How's that going?
WNJC, AM 1360. I'm on Wednesdays at 10 a.m., 1 p.m. Local time in Philadelphia. It's fabulous. It's very scary. It takes, hats off to you. I've said this before. It is not easy to do at all. It's very stressful for me, but it's a huge opportunity and just a ton of fun. So.
Oh yeah. And Philly is as good a place as any. I mean, it's like the LA of the East Coast.
Right? Yeah. It's really very exciting.
Yeah, I was stationed in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, which is about 40 miles south of Philadelphia. And one of the things I really found remarkable in our adventures into the city, we used to go in, I think they had an auditorium called the Spectrum. And a lot of rock groups came in there. I mean, some of the top line. I mean, I could read off a list. It would take me 15 minutes of all the rock bands that I saw out of the Spectrum. And but one of the things I always noticed is that the city itself was very segregated. There were like sections of the city, and you could literally drive around. They had traffic circles back there, I think.
Yep.
And I remember driving around this one traffic circle, and you could almost tell the boundaries of the neighborhood just by the way they looked. It was really weird. They had the Italian section and the black section, and I guess the white section, and different. You could just tell. It was weird.
Nope,
it was kind of a weird place. Yeah. Out here in LA, where everybody just kind of looks the same. They all wear colors, that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, it's surprising when you drive through LA, there's areas marked off. Little Armenia, little Italy, little Saigon, little...
Yeah.
That's demarcated even with signs. It's peculiar.
I think it was just the idea that you would see it. You would be driving a circle, and you could kind of scan the area, Yeah, certainly we have that out here. I mean, probably every state has their version of it, but
right.
It's just kind of remarkable. How are you feeling about after last week? We had a really, really good show. I'm still aglow from that.
Well, wasn't that? That was something.
It was great. It was great, Karen. But it wasn't something. It was great.
It was great.
We couldn't have done any better. I think we should try to do it at every time.
Yeah, well, I had no idea that Bob is a very moderate person socially. He's a social moderate, fiscal conservative, and I just out of my love for him, I don't ever refer to him as a rhino. Probably the only one that I don't, but he has some very strong liberal leanings when it comes to issues like homosexuality and stuff. So and
that's fine.
Yeah, it is. It's just. It's very seldom that I can get him that animated. That's the point I'm getting at. He's normally Mr. Cool, Calm, and Collective,
Well, he was pretty animated.
well, Karen, I don't know. You were so calm.
Yeah.
You were so calm, Karen, and cool and collected. I can't believe you never came off any excitable or anything like that.
I know. I just, I was very tame, wasn't I?
Well, it was good to have that, and I wish I really strived. Maybe I need to fish a little bit more for people that can express and articulate the opposite view that would be willing to come on. I know several people that can do it, but they just don't really want to be out in the public arena because then they're accountable.
Well, the thing is, though, it's fine to have that stance about homosexuality. But the point was how, to me, that he took the stance that he's been told to take by the media, which is that this law permitted people to act in a discriminatory manner towards homosexuals just because they're homosexuals. No, and that is really why I do what I do, because so much of what people think they know, him included, is what they've been told to think or that is the truth by the media. And it's not the truth. Yeah. This law did not give people carte blanche to discriminate against gays. That's not what it did.
Nope,
so,
not at all.
right?
And I think it was really appropriate too that we understand that